Hello, hello, hello. This is Gresh from the I Am CEO podcast, and I have a very special guest on the show today. I have Isaiah Gresham of Gresham Financial. Isaiah, it's awesome to have you on the show.
Thank you for hosting me, Gresh. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Super excited to have you on. And before we jumped in, I want to read a little bit more about Isaiah so you can hear about all the awesome things that he's doing. And Isaiah is the founder and president of Gresham Financial, which provides tax, accounting, and outsourced chief financial officer services for business owners, executives, and independent professionals. He started the company in 2016 with the goal of helping clients plan for the future, grow their businesses, and accumulate savings to achieve their dreams. Gresham has been doing his friends and family taxes since 2009, and today he treats each client's return with the same level of care and concern. Leveraging his deep industry expertise and personal dedication, his proactive approach goes beyond tax preparation to help clients live more fulfilled lives. Isaiah's passion for helping people thrive extends to small business owners and executives in the way the company is structured and impacts the owner's business, investments, and estate planning taxes. And Gresham understands these complex interactions as well as how to limit liability in each of these areas. Serving clients not just as an accountant, but as a strategic partner, he offers outsourced chief financial officer services and access to a network of trusted professionals outside of accounting. Outside the office, Gresham enjoys being outdoors, traveling, and spending time with his family. Isaiah, are you ready to speak to the IMCO community?
Oh, I'm ready.
Awesome. Let's do it. So to kick everything off, I wanted to rewind the clock a little bit, hear a little bit more on how you got started. Could you take us through your CEO story, and we'll let you get started with the business?
Absolutely. So my CEO story started with friendship. One of my long-term friends, Perry Lewis, still a business owner back in Birmingham, Alabama. Met him when I was 7 years old. He's about 10 years older than my mom. And I had an opportunity to hang out with him, spend time around his flower shop, learn about, how he got that business off the ground. Even as a kid, he exposed me to other opportunities in the community where I was able to see, how he was also working as a business owner, not as a business owner, but as an investor in the community as well. In a lot of his efforts, I won't go into detail with those because that's more personal for him. But also my mom was an entrepreneur, and watching her go through her experience and also seeing her without an accountant, I got a chance to kind of see the best and the worst of both ends of being a business owner. And so I started my accounting career. I got deep into the details, and I started going through the normal standard auditor walk, going out to make really large business and getting into their financial statements. And I didn't understand why we were doing that. As far as I seen those clear examples of business owners who needed an accountant and what we were able to do for them. But as an auditor, I wasn't getting the same fulfillment. So I spent a couple years chasing that dream and trying it out, and none of that was working for me. And I decided to take a step back and go back to what I got the most passion from, which was actually helping my friends and family with taxes. So when I moved to Washington, I decided to set up my own entity. I was licensed as a CPA and still am in the state of Florida. And I decided to, continue to pursue that. And as I got started with that process, a lot of my neighbors started coming my way and started seeing a lot of tax issues they were having. And I noticed that people needed more tax planning. They needed somebody more proactive instead of just somebody who could be another H&R Block. So from there, I decided to leverage that audit experience and bring in the accounting end of the business, but then also take that same approach and bring that to the tax end of the business. And Gresham Financial became what it is today.
Nice. I absolutely definitely appreciate, the story and being able to kind of understand exactly what your passions are and why you do what you do, and be able to kind of course, help and impact so many organizations and business and individuals if we really get and dig a little bit deeper.
Right. 100%.
Awesome. So I know you touched on it a little bit, but I wanted to kind of drill a little bit deeper through exactly how you work with clients. Could you take us through the services you provide, the different services, and also how that process looks like?
Definitely. So my business is split into two ends that really service a client from a holistic standpoint. So the greatest example I could give is a startup company that I've been working with since 2018. We helped them from the CFO end of the business initially by helping them get funded. And the CFO for a company can do multiple things. So we were able to help them adjust their projected financial statements. We're able to help them establish credit history, because business credit works completely different from personal credit, but we understand the intricacies of how those things work. So we're able to get them established on both ends of that. Even setting up initial HR functions from an accounting standpoint, establishing payroll, getting a couple other things in place. But then we're able to carry that to the next level by helping them with tax planning and potentially plan which states they're going to operate their business from, and even how that would make a major impact on the bottom line for the business. Setting up the tax structure, the appropriate tax structure for not only their purposes, but also for the outside investors' purposes to make them all happy. And at the end of the day, people want to be able to make money, but also save as much as they possibly can. So that accounting end of the business, it starts with the CFO. The CFO is basically that highest accounting officer. If you're thinking in terms of sports, which is my favorite way to go, we'll use basketball as an example. CFO is the front office up there with the CFO, where a controller is more of a head coach. He's kind of dictating where things are going. And also, and by that, I mean revenue and expenses. So we're able to project revenue. We're able to set payment terms, do things like that at that middle tier. But then we're also able to set payment terms on the outside by saying, hey, biller, I want to adjust my bill date to such and such date, and basically create a cyclical system so that we can create some predictability in the business and help grow it. The bookkeeper is more the person that's like the manager, sitting back on the side, keeping the score, and keeping the game moving forward, or they're the referee. That same analogy being taken on the tax side, tax planner is basically somebody coming in, taking that dynamic coaching role and guiding this person in the right direction, or guiding this business in the right direction to ensure that they're paying the absolute minimum they possibly can, and that they're in a defendable position whenever they do so with the IRS, so that it's not an issue for them. But we really think about things in a 3 to 5 year range, and then also if there's things that have a long-term implication that may have a 20 to 30 year implication on them, we take those things into consideration. Tax preparers, same thing as the bookkeeper. They're more, here and now, record keeper, basically showing how your score was in that last year, and they're doing everything they can to keep it within a minimum range, but they're not being as proactive to a certain extent. They're being reactive. Then you have that final tier, which is our tax resolution services. So you think of that as like an official on the cleanup job, coming in and really trying to make sure that everybody's okay, and that the client doesn't have to overpay if they do have a large bill with the IRS, and that the IRS is also treated fairly. So we're kind of that intermediary there.
Nice. I absolutely appreciate that. I'm a big sports junkie, so I was able to follow that perfectly. So I'm glad you broke it down like that. And I always say like a true, to me, sign of expertise, and they even say that related to teaching, is the ability to be able to communicate with who you're talking to, and to be able to take that, understand that knowledge, understand the high level and the kind of nuances of it, and be able to kind of communicate that to whoever you're having a conversation with. So I definitely appreciate that.
Sure.
No problem. And so I wanted to ask you now for what I call your secret sauce. And this could be for you personally or your business, but what do you feel kind of sets you apart and makes you unique?
I think the thing that sets us apart is the fact that we care. And it's not just about me at the end of the day. I am, I work with the clients. I'm the first person you meet in a lot of situations. But it's not just about simply my expertise. The people that I work with on this team are experts in their own field, whether that be someone who is, tremendously gifted at business taxes. I have another person who's tremendously gifted at tax resolution. I'm strong at strategy. So, that's really where I like to thrive. I have, someone who works with us who has their MBA, who's really just focused on creating systems, and they're very good at developing those. Where there's even another person I'm working with who's a CMA, who she is just like all the way in terms of being able to take a company, dissect it, and rebuild it to make it more efficient. So, it's all about the fact that all of us really like what we do, and we really care for the people that we work with and the businesses that we work with.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, as you said, I think when you're really, you have that caring and that passion for what it is that you do, I think that especially you working with businesses and organizations, not only do you have the impact on the business itself because they know that they're in the right hands because you have all those different expertises related to whatever they might need, but it also helps out their clients, their customers, the people that they are also in service to. So it kind of sounds like it creates that domino effect that has a tremendous impact on so many different people.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So I wanted to switch gears a little bit and I want to ask you for what I call a CEO hack. So this could be like an app, a book, or a habit that you have, but what's something that makes you more effective and efficient?
Oh yeah, I actually have it with me. So it's Burdens of a Dream. It's 33 actionable nuggets of wisdom for the creative entrepreneur. It's by Craig Chavis. I read this book about 2 months ago, and it's made a huge impact on my business. It was really easy to read. One of the things that I really liked was lesson number 33, which definitely talked about, tomorrow. Tomorrow is the most important thing that comes to us. And you can't forget about it because sometimes it's like with everything that's going on with the pandemic these days and every other event that's come right behind it, it's just been one thing after another. But there is going to be a tomorrow. And that's one thing that we have to keep in mind. The sun will rise tomorrow. And, hopefully coffee still exists if anybody, drinks coffee. I know, I like a little bit of caffeine myself, but it's a matter of things will continue to move forward, but it's always about continuing to put in that effort and never giving up. And that's one of the things that I was able to take from this book from start to finish. Never give up on your dream.
Yeah, that's extremely powerful. And I think, I use this quote a lot where I say it's always, and I didn't come up with it unless, if somebody hadn't heard it with it and I'll take credit for it, but people say it's always darkest before dawn. And I think that's a great reminder that, sometimes those frustrations, the things that are going on, the things that seem like there is no tomorrow, the reminder that we have a tomorrow and there is that opportunity to have a tomorrow. And even on a deeper level, we're able to work towards the betterment of tomorrow is one of the most kind of, I guess, beautiful and things we can be appreciative of, because if we didn't have that, then it would definitely be a lot more of a difficult and trying time for sure.
Definitely. Definitely.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now I wanted to ask you for what I call a CEO nugget. And that could be like a word of wisdom or a piece of advice. It might be something you would tell a client, or if you were to hop into a time machine, you might tell your younger business self.
Definitely. Well, one thing I would say is never forget about your family. And everything that I do with business, a lot of the reasons why I do what I do is because of my family. It started with, watching my mom as a business owner have a hard time with not having the right person on her team, the right quarterback, so to speak, in terms of the CPA. I look at the same deal with being able to take care of my own family. I can't forget about them as I continue to grow this business. They're the reason why I do it. And in a lot of cases, your family is going to be there for you if you do happen to fail, which in my eyes, fail is just learning a lesson as a business owner. And being able to recover from that is actually, a success in other people's eyes. I think of what LeBron says by, when he lost the NBA Finals, the first time that they win, and it was very easy to get there, that failure was one of the greatest lessons. But he not only had his teammates, but he also had his family supporting him to push him back out there to get back to playing.
Yeah, it's extremely powerful because I think so many times, when we, get into business, and especially the ups and downs and twists and turns that come with running a business and life in general for that matter, it's just a lot. It can sometimes be a lot. It can be overwhelming, but I think it's so important to be able to, for one, be able to have those people that you can lean on, especially, in those times of frustration, but just as you said, be able to know why you're doing what you're doing. And as you talked about your mother, you talked about, I think you said the friend, the family
my wife. Yeah.
The wife too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely been her in my corner and, being able to have a support because I at times have thought about, pursuing a career and anything else like that, because at the end of the day, it's about taking care of my family. But my wife, she's always been there and supportive of my efforts in this business. So, definitely between the two of them, like, and even my son motivates me. So.
There you go. You gotta get a strong team. Anytime you have a strong team, it gives you that opportunity to be successful. So, why we do what we do a lot of times is the people that we love and care about. And it's always important to make sure that we're keeping that top of mind in terms of why we and how we are doing everything. So now I wanted to ask you my absolute favorite question, which is the definition of what it means to be a CEO. And we're hoping to have different quote unquote CEOs on the show. So Isaiah, what does being a CEO mean to you?
Well, to me, it definitely means empowering others to be great. So whenever I work with someone, my goal every time is to help them achieve whatever it is that they set out. We set that original goal when they get there. Like if they want to be their own CEO in terms of some of the contractors I work with, then I help them be the best they can at their own craft and help them introduce them to as many people as I possibly can. And that even goes to the mentorship level. What is that student looking for that I'm working with? And how can I help them achieve that goal at the end of the day? Yeah. With my clients, same story. How can we help them achieve their goals as a business owner? And even if it's a not-for-profit, how can we help them make a larger impact on the community?
Yeah, and that's extremely powerful. A lot of times we have our zone of genius that we lean on, that we want to do. And a lot of times, especially for entrepreneurs and business owners, usually we have a strong why for what we've created. And when we are able to focus even more on that impact and have, experts like yourself to be able to lean on so that we can make sure that we're strategically in the right place and know all the numbers and all that aspect as far as how we can be successful, it allows us to show up and to show up even better when we know that we have a strong team on our behalf.
Right. I agree.
Awesome. Well, Isaiah, truly appreciate that definition. I appreciate your time even more. What I wanted to do was pass you the mic, so to speak, just to see if there's anything additional you can let our readers and listeners know. And of course, how best they can get a hold of you and find out about all the awesome things you and your team are working on.
Oh, yeah, great. So we are currently based in the greater Seattle area. However, we do work with people all over the country, and we are expanding to the East Coast. So I would say look out for us within the next year to have the location based in New York. And, we want to be able to continue to take care of you. Gresham Financial services, professional service companies, real estate companies, as well as startups that are more developing their own intellectual property and devices. So if you kind of fall into that business niche, or if you're an individual who needs somebody to help you with tax planning and tax resolution and possibly save you as much as they can, definitely give us a call. As far as being able to find us, we're at seattleaccountingfirm.com, or you can find us on most social media platforms.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Isaiah. We will have the links and information in the show notes as well, too, so that everybody can find you even easier. But truly appreciate you, my friend. Truly appreciate all the awesome things you're doing and the impact that you're having. And I hope you have a phenomenal rest of the day.
Great. Thank you. I appreciate it. You too.